This is how to do a taper fade on long curly hair. First of all, the key is to come from the bulk of the hair and then come down flat onto the head with the number 2. So we're coming from the bulk, lifting the clipper off the head, then coming down flat onto the sides. This is the area where we will be fading. So we are prepping this area. So make sure to get this as flat as possible and spend time at this part, getting this done correctly. Don't rush this part. Doing this correctly will make the rest of the haircut a lot easier, and you'll see why. So I put my skin line in where I want the fade to stop. Then come from underneath the skin line and through up to just under where the bulk is and flick out. Make sure you're always flicking out. I don't go into the natural blend we've already created when we had the number 2 and the 1.5 going with the grain. So I come underneath it and flick out. Very important. We don't want to mess with that fade up in that area. Drop down to the open one and come through and flick out. Then close one, come through and flick out. And see how I'm much lower now than I was when I was doing the 1.5. Because with a fade, you want to make sure that you're gradually always coming down lower every time you drop down a gauge or you drop down a level, so that we can gradually fade it out. So I keep going over this area, just flicking out. Can you see that I'm flicking out? Go to the open blade and now I'm even lower, just through the skin line a little bit and flick out. I'm going to close the lever on the side a little bit now, and then I'm just going to flick out a bit more through the skin line. Close it a bit more and then just touch the skin line. And look how quickly we have faded it. That's why I said earlier on, doing the natural bulk fade, it was important. Everything else becomes easier when you do it like that. Now with the shape up, as you would normally do. With a C-cup, I'm using the corner of the trimmer like a pencil to create the C-cup. Then I do the sideline with the flat blade. At this point, I go back to just going over that skin line and fading it in a bit more as well, because the contrast here will make that fade stand out a lot more. So if I can just skin it a bit more and fade it a bit more, this fade will look banging. Trust me. Go to the shape up, the front line. Go from the middle and go straight across to meet the side line. Comb it out, lift up the hair and go over the line. Do this a number of times, combing it out and lifting it up to get that line sharp, clean, and to make sure that it doesn't just come out of line when they go home. So make sure to comb it out and go over it quite a few times. Now this part is key to refining the fade. As you can see, it's a bit blotchy here, so I keep going over it. But apologies, because I end up cutting and I don't film it all. But what I did was I just kept on going over it and lightening up that area till that little area there was smoother, which you will see in the next clip. And this is the finished product. This is how I do a taper fade on long curly hair. I hope this has been helpful. You've been in a cut with Slidercuts. Don't forget to follow for more daily barber content.